Have you ever been super motivated to accomplish a new goal, but then after the motivation fades, you find yourself quitting or giving up? Are you tired of stopping and starting over? Have you ever wanted to understand why it's so difficult to accomplish your goals and find a method that actually works so you can stop struggling and start making real progress? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to teach you how to do in this video. If you're new to this channel, my name is Mr. Unstoppable. I am a professional fitness coach and an identity transformation specialist. And in this video, I'm going to teach you the unstoppable transformation method that I've personally used in my own journey to overcome being an overweight alcoholic with the worst victim mindset known to man. But through this exact method, I was able to not only transform my life, but also the lives of my students too as well. So I'm going to put up a few screenshots onto the video so that way you guys can see a little bit of social proof and see how this particular method has helped them to change their lives too as well. Also, feel free to stop this video to check those out as well. So I know the number one question on everybody's mind is, why is it so difficult? And the major reason is because most people who are trying to change their lives or accomplish some type of goal, whether it be to get in shape, to get another job, whatever the case may be, what happens is we tend to get really hype on the emotion of motivation. Most times when people fail, you hear them say that they had lost motivation. And when people have a hard time starting back up, they always say, I don't have motivation. But motivation is exactly why you're having such a hard time with jumping back on board or when you quit in the first place. But if you understand the psychology of what it takes to actually transform and to become the person who doesn't quit instead of relying on motivation, you will succeed. And with this unstoppable transformation method, it is a process that you can repeat over and over with any new goal that you have set in mind. And this method is made up of 4 pillars that I'm going to teach you today. And I promise you, if you learn these 4 pillars, you can repeat this process and become the person who doesn't quit, and you can accomplish any goal as long as you stick to these 4 pillars and you do the work. So let's get into it. First and foremost, we got to start with pillar number 1. Pillar number 1 is dissatisfaction. You must be first dissatisfied with the circumstances that you have currently. For instance, if you are dissatisfied with being overweight, then you're going to actually have some emotional tie to take action to not be overweight, to start getting in shape. And if you do not have a strong dissatisfaction, when the motivation runs out, and it will, you're going to be right back to square one where you started. You have to ask yourself, what are you fed up with? Every transformation starts with this question. My own personal transformation started with this question too. 14 years ago, I was overweight, drinking every day. And after years and years of me doing this, I finally stepped on the scale and seen a number that I'll never forget. And it was only at that precise moment that I say to myself that this was enough. And until you are dissatisfied with your current circumstances, you will not have a strong enough why to keep you going throughout the entire process. And this is why most people quit and then blame it on motivation. Second thing that you need to ask during this pillar is, why is this causing you pain? Every goal or transformation has to start with some degree of suffering or some type of pain that you have that you are trying to relieve from yourself. This is going to be the driving force that puts that fire to that action that you're going to be doing every single day. So if you're currently trying to accomplish a goal or become a better version of yourself in some type of way, you have to understand why this particular thing is causing you pain and get as deep as possible. You can't just go surface level, which leads us to the next question. Are you just uncomfortable, or is this particular thing unacceptable? When I stood on that scale and seen that I weighed 196 pounds, at that very moment, I didn't say, oh, this is kind of bad. I said, this is now unacceptable for me. At that very moment, I created a new standard for myself. And that's what moved me towards the next step. I went and got a gym membership the very next day. So in order for you to start accomplishing your goal to where you'll actually stay on track, you have to be more than just a little uncomfortable, because it might still be acceptable to you, which leads us to pillar number 2, belief. So now that you have the burning desire to make a change because you found something that's unacceptable, now it's time to shift into the belief aspect. Because if you have action, but you do not believe that you can accomplish whatever it is, then it's all going to be for naught. In Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, he spoke about faith and how powerful it is coupled with a burning desire to achieve a goal. If you put these 2 things together, there's nothing that you can't achieve, but you have to believe that you can actually do it. A lot of people are dissatisfied with something in their life, but they don't believe that they can change it. And this is why they stay stuck. And this might be the same for you too as well. Which leads us to the question, do you believe that you can change 100%? If you don't believe in it 100%, then it's not going to work. Point blank period. So during the time period where I wanted to get fit, from being an obese, overweight alcoholic. I really truly believed 100% that I can make it happen. Now, I didn't know how I was going to actually do that, but I knew that this is unacceptable, and I believed in myself 100% that I could make it happen. And you too have to believe 100% that whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, that you can actually make it happen. So I want you to think back to the last time that you gave up on something, right? I want you to answer this question for me. What beliefs about yourself caused you to give up before? What thoughts did you have that led you to give up the last time that you tried to accomplish something? Unfortunately, a lot of what we think about ourselves is negative. Also, a lot of the thoughts that you have don't even come from you, they come from past experiences and things that people have told you in the past that stuck with you over a long period of time. So once you can start breaking that down and understanding why you think the thoughts that you think, and then challenge those thoughts, because when you begin to challenge that way of thinking, you can update those programs that are inside of your mind. Psychologically, your subconscious mind is just replaying a bunch of the old tapes and things that have been said and things that you have thought based on your past experiences. So once you become aware of that, then you can make those changes. So when you're thinking about those past thoughts that you had that have led you to quit in the past, think to yourself, what past experiences shape those beliefs? Because you can have a thought, but a thought can always be changed. And the experiences that you have with that way of thinking is what solidifies it inside of your mind. Joe Dispenza always talks about neuroplasticity and how we are the placebo. Because whatever we think and we experience, we create our own reality. Just like your past experiences have shaped the person that you are today, you can also have your experiences now to shape your future self too as well. So the same thing that got you here that you were unconscious of, you can now become conscious of it and reshape your life with that same process. And pillar number 3 is identity. This is where the fun stuff happens. Once you have figured out what it is that you're dissatisfied with and got 100% belief that you can actually accomplish it, then we start shaping your new identity. So with pillar number 3, you want to envision your future self. Your imagination is one of the most powerful tools that you have at your disposal. Unfortunately, a lot of people use it in the wrong way. We cause ourselves anxiety thinking about the future. We fall into a lot of fears of things that will never have came to pass. And then we end up creating the reality that we don't want and feeding into the same identity that we already have that we no longer want to be. But now you can use that same imagination to shape your new identity and become the person who doesn't give up. Now, this is a process. This is where the work is going to be done, and it's not going to be the easiest thing, but that's okay. Whenever you are becoming somebody different, it's going to take some time and you're going to have some relapses, but that's okay because you've been the person that you are for a long time. The current identity that you have took a lot of time to build. So it's going to take some time to rebuild your new identity too as well. So during this process, I want you to grant yourself a lot of compassion and a lot of grace because it's going to take some time. All right. And also, during this process, it's good to put yourself in the environment around people who can give you encouragement and make sure that you don't fall back into that old identity. And if that's something that you need some help with, you can join the Unstoppable Academy, which is my online school community. The link to the community will be in the description of this video. But let's get back to it. This statement right here is very powerful, and I want you to write this down. I am the person who, and then I want you to fill in the blank of this statement. So when you are reshaping your new identity, you have to affirm it. All right. Now, it's going to feel a little weird at first, and it might even feel like a lie, but that's okay. Because if it was true at this particular time, then it wouldn't be an affirmation. You wouldn't have to affirm it because you'd already be being it. And even though it might feel like a lie or it might feel like you don't believe it, continue to do it anyway because you have to see it in your mind first before you can make it into your reality. Now, when you finish this I am statement, I want you to reread it and I want you to really envision that version of you. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and think about the new version of yourself. How does that person walk? How does that person talk? How do other people perceive this person, this new identity? How do you feel waking up as this person every single day? What type of thoughts do they have? How do they talk to themselves? Do they criticize themselves? What standards do they uphold? Do they go to the gym 5 times a week? Do they eat out once a week? Do they read 10 pages a day of a book so they can improve themselves? Get as detailed as possible. And when you are visualizing this new identity of yourself, I want you to start feeling how this person feels. And that is how you align with the new identity. So, again, what standards does this version live by? This is extremely important. So, make sure you do not skip this part. When you are trying to accomplish a new goal for yourself, start identifying as a person who already accomplished it. You have to create new standards for yourself. All right. Because what happens is while you are going from the current identity that you have now into the new identity, there's going to be some back and forth friction. It's going to be a battle between those two identities. So you have to create standards to live up to so that way you don't sink back into the old identity. All right? And again, this is going to be a process. So give yourself some time. And it's not going to be easy, but it is going to be worth it, and you definitely can do it. Now, let me tell you a little bit about how the mind works. When you are shifting your identity into a new person, into a new identity, into a better version of yourself, you're going to, by default, automatically have resistance. So if you have not been working out, when you start working out, you're going to hear these inner voices and you're going to have this feeling of friction. You're going to have this feeling of resistance because you're doing things that you have not done before. Your brain is pre-wired to do things that you've done over and over and over again. It always goes back to what's familiar. This is why every time you change, you have a lot of resistance. And this is why it feels so difficult. Like you have something pulling you back to the old version of you, because you do. You have to get used to not listening to those same voices that you've listened to before. Once you start making different choices, you'll start to be able to bring mindfulness to those old thoughts that don't serve you anymore. Louise Hay always told me in the YouTube videos that I watched, amazing woman who's helped me transform my life too as well. She said the ego will challenge you, but the ego is just trying to protect you. So whenever you have these old thoughts come up, she said, tell the ego, thank you, but we're doing this now. I know you're just trying to protect me. Thank you, but we're doing this now. So you can do that to program your subconscious mind and help the ego to understand that you are becoming something different, because it's just trying to protect you by doing the same things that you've done before in the past. So pillar 4 is the proof. Consistent action reinforces your identity. So this, what I said, is where the work comes into play. Consistent action, continuously living up to the standard of the new identity that you are building. Repetition is the key with pillar number 4. Now, things are not going to be perfect. There are going to be days, say if you're getting in shape, where you eat things that you aren't supposed to be eating that day. That's okay. There's going to be days that you skip workouts. That's okay. If you're trying to work on your finances, there's going to be times where you may spend money that you aren't supposed to be spending. That's okay. This process is about consistent action. It's not about being perfect. Okay. So when people hear the word consistency, they automatically think that being consistent means you're perfect. No, that's not it. That's not the case. It's two totally different things. Consistency means that if you skip a workout, you start back the next day. Not Monday, not next week or whatever. The next day you get back on the horse and you keep going. If you spend some money that you weren't supposed to spend when you're working on being better with your finances, you don't just give up and start over again Monday. No, you start again the very next day. Consistency just means that you do not give up. It doesn't mean that you don't fumble. It doesn't mean that you don't stumble. It doesn't mean that you don't fall sometimes. It just means that whatever happens, you have made a new standard for yourself to keep going, to not give up, to not quit. That's all that means. On your journey to become consistent, don't worry about being perfect, because you're not going to be. You're becoming somebody that you've never been before. You're going to mess up. That's the whole point. That is what is going to allow you to continue to build yourself, to prove to yourself with your actions that you can become the person that you have envisioned with this new identity on pillar 3. Are you reinforcing the past identity that you're trying to let go of, making excuses as to why you didn't go work out that day, or making excuses as to why you had takeout when you could have went home and had a home cooked meal instead and stuck to the regimen? Or are you making those small little tweaks and those actions, those deposits every single day into this new identity? and living up to the standard that you are now creating. So you have to think, what actions align with your new standard? Create a small list of non-negotiables for your new future self. I like to always go back to fitness because I feel like if you can get in shape, you can do anything. A lot of the same rules apply that you can transfer into other aspects of your life. If you are trying to get in shape, you can have non-negotiables that you have every single week, things that you do on a particular daily basis, whether it be you make sure that you get a certain amount of water in per day. You make sure that you have 2 whole meals every single day. You make sure that you don't have any junk food until the one day a week, maybe Saturday or Sunday, right? You can make sure that you work out 3 or 4 times per week, non negotiables, new standards for your new identity. And every single time that you make those actions and live up to the standard of the new identity, you are reinforcing it. And the more times that you do that, the more that you're just going to start shifting into that new identity that you are creating for yourself, that new person that you are becoming, the one that you visualized. Every single action is either a deposit in your old identity or into the new identity that you're creating. So let's do a little quick recap. Pillar 1 is dissatisfaction. Think to yourself, I don't want this anymore. Pillar number 2 is belief or faith. Think to yourself, I can change. Pillar number 3 is identity. Think to yourself, this is who I'm becoming. And pillar number 4 is proof. This is what I do. And that is the unstoppable transformation method. Hopefully you guys got a lot from this video and it's helped you to understand a lot better how to reach your goals and not rely on motivation, but instead become the person who doesn't give up. So that way you can accomplish anything that you want in life. If you like this video, leave a like or leave a comment too as well. And if you would like to join the Unstoppable Academy, again, the link is in the description of this video. And like I say in every single video, no obstacle is greater than the power that you have within. Start creating the new identity of yourself and becoming the person who doesn't give up. Stay unstoppable. Peace.